Hello everybody, Andrew Casey from Hypersanity Books for Kids. Today I'm doing a shout out to David's book reviews. I have followed his channel for a long time and he's had some interesting recommendations. Therefore I'm doing the recommendation book tag in honor of David's book reviews. Without further ado, let's just get into it. Number 1. A book you tell everyone is your favourite. Without a doubt, The Never-Ending Story. A fantastic book. I think it should be read by everyone. That's just my honest opinion. There is also a part where it's good to compare between movie and book. So, yeah, there's something to enjoy. The second movie was based off the second half of the book, and it just didn't live up to the expectations. I touched on it in the recent video, and yeah, the mental illness side should have been a lot better within the film, but that's just how it was. If they do remake The Neverending Story, it would have to be a fantastic movie. Though, this is my number 1 book to recommend. Question 2. A book that is a guilty pleasure. I don't recommend romance books for a lot of reasons, so without recommending certain books to their title and genre, I will recommend an author. So for the adult fiction, Leela Lou Darlin. I struggle with her name, and that's just a character flaw for myself, though she has published quite a lot of books. She is popular within the Sunday Times, and with her books I found not my genre. Though as a guilty pleasure, some of her books are well written and the characterizations are fantastic. Some of the romance and innuendos went over my head, but that's another story and shall be told another time, on another channel. Number 3. A book everyone loved, then you didn't. I will definitely say this, it would have to be The Cyborg Tinkerer. I have seen it had a lot of 5-star reviews from a lot of big YouTube channels, and I think it doesn't work out. I looked at the book, it wasn't well written, it was trash. It has a lot of scenes that relate to the adult audience, and with those who do complain about Game of Thrones, wow, this was a whole different league of its own. And I think with a lot of sexual content, I think the world needs to come back from a lot of that and just tell a story to be a story. So there are a lot of things that I don't recommend within the book, especially because it is for an adult's audience, though the adult subject matters that it touches on is trashy. But again, there were a lot of people that gave reviews, and I don't think they were fair 5-star reviews. That's just my honest opinion. Number 4. A book you read the fastest. It'll have to be Diary of a Minecraft Zombie. Each of the books, it just follows between a couple pages for day to day without actual dates, so it's Monday to Sunday and goes back to Monday to Sunday, and it just carries on from book to book. So it's the sort of thing I'm reading with my son. I'm currently up to book 24 of 28 of the first half of the collection, and I know there's more books yet to come. With my opinions on it, I have some compliments and I have some gripes. However, I will review it fairly on this channel, and I think for some of the young authors and readers out there who love Minecraft, this might be a good series to take a look at. Number 5. A book that deserves more recognition. I'll have to say Guardians of Magic by Melissa Nash. Each of the books, it starts off autumn, winter, spring, summer. It is a fantastic series to follow. I also found it had the fantasy elements that were enjoyable for the escape, but the violence and tone was not something to override. It's something I would recommend for a lot of middle grade readers, and a lot of adults have embraced with her work. Question 6. A book that is becoming a movie or show. I really don't know how to answer that one at this stage, so next question. Number 7. A book you have read the most. I'll have to say it's 4 books at this stage, but the Fairy Knights books. The author, Damien Hanson, he goes under the pen name of Dames Handsome. He has written some fantastic work. He also has helped me with a couple projects. So there's a certain sort of relationship you build with other authors, and he has a lot of talent. He has announced that he is planning, even though at the moment he's got a couple book series that are taking off extremely well, he will come back to this book series because it is popular, it did go well, and I think there's so much more potential, and I have enjoyed to reread the books, and I have read certain parts of the books before. The new prince bowed, I am Prince Picky from the kingdom of Swampfart Forest. Question 8. A book from a genre you typically don't read. I would have to say back to the romance books by the author Leela Lou Darlin. Her books are fantastic, not my genre, though I will say I do support her work. She has captivated something else with the way she has written, and also within the characterization she has done a fantastic job. And I think there is something to learn about how a lot of her books go between one character and the other character and unfolds the story to and throwing. There is just something that I do enjoy with her work. Question 9. A book that gets all the hype it deserves. I will have to say Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and also the Cash Flow Quadrant. As Robert Kiyosaki himself said, he couldn't stay on the New York Times bestseller list for more than 7 years with the same book. So there is a lot that I do recommend with what he has done. I take the Cash Flow Quadrant as an employee currently. I'm transitioning into self-employment, obviously doing some YouTube and other things, and I'm leading towards a little bit with business, but the investing side. It's just a different business model that I'm working on. And with a lot of the long-term goals with my spouse, it's just to have a nice leisurely retirement where we both have more time and money, and we do the things that we'd like to do, especially reading books and writing books. I do have other dreams and goals, but that's another story and shall be told another time. Number 10. A book you recommend when being asked for a recommendation. I'm going to have to go with Hugo Cabret, The Invention of Hugo Cabret. The movie Hugo was so close to what the book was. And also, did you know that George Méliès is actually a real person? So there was some part of history and early filmmaking that is mentioned within the movie as part of the character's breakdown from other events of tragedy of World War I. But there was just something with the story that was captivating between the book and the film. Also, to have a character based off a real person showed a different appreciation. So it is interesting. Also, his science fiction film about going to the moon. Yes, there were people before the time of the moon landing who believed that there were aliens on the moon. So who knows? There's certain parts of history that we can appreciate. And it's some of the different books that we read throughout the ages to appreciate what direction we can all move forward with. Number 11. A book that has your favourite characters. One movie I did grow up with was Forrest Gump. And between book and film, wow, it is fantastic. I have an appreciation for the movie, and the book complements that, and the book complements the movie. So they both have their similarities, though there is something that I enjoy between the differences. I love the movie and I love the book equally. And my favourite character is Lieutenant Dan. As a protagonist to the story, there is something about reclaiming his life that I found was deep and meaningful, and this moment is my favourite scene.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
He never actually said so, but I think he made his peace with God.
Question 12. A book you could live in. I will recommend for a children's book, A Secret Garden. I enjoy the movie even years later. I still enjoy the book today. There is something about the escape, and even though I'm an adult, it's the escape, and I enjoy worm farming, and I think about the environment, what I could do on a property to turn it around. So yeah, it is a guilty pleasure. Also on the subject of escaping, there are a lot of people I ask this question: do you like the movie Eat, Pray, Love, or do you like the movie or book Under the Tuscan Sun, and so many say they love The Escape. Imagine what you could do if you go to Tuscany and embrace in the culture, and she has a property and all the different things you can do. And then I ask, do you even know the character's name? And a lot cannot answer that question, but they enjoy the movie or they enjoy the book. And that's one of the beauties of The Escape, is embracing the escape into the environment. And because when you do read a book like this, you become the character. Number 13. A book you think you wouldn't like, but you ended up enjoying. I'll have to say, I saw this on David's book reviews, and after seeing his review without spoilers, I thought I'd like to review this one on the primary channel. And I did it with a mix between comparing book to Robin Hood Men in Tights. Yes, I actually enjoyed this book. There was also an interesting point. Little John has a fear of water and rain as aquaphobia. So there was a bit more of a character detail. So this scene was actually not an exaggeration to the real story.
Help me! I can't swim! I'm drowning! Oh no, I'm drowning!
Number 14, a book that made you cry. I'll have to say, Weapons of an Empress by Alexia de Silva. I reviewed her book when I started the original channel, Hypersanity Books. Yes, I keep to more of the adult content there. And with her book, she was a young author who was 17, turning 18, and it was one of the early books I reviewed. When it got towards the very end of the book, and I won't spoil it, it's a tearjerker that you don't see coming, and it's one that hit me so hard. I found, she had a lot of talent for such a young age, and she has written her next book, and she's working on more ahead. She has given a little bit of an outline to what she's planned, with each book to be from another character's point of view, and then going back to the first character of the first book. Though, again, the way the first book ended, it was a tearjerker. Number 15. A book you wish you could read for the first time. I'll have to say, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. With the book, it is split into two halves. It was almost like it was designed for theatre, where the first half of the book is beginning to the end of the time with the Ghost of Christmas Past, and then the Ghost of Christmas Present to the end of the story is the second half. So it is one thing to think about. It's also, there's so many scenes that I enjoy between movies and with the book. Although I will say this, the scene that challenges me the most in most recent years is the scene where Belle leaves him, because of how focused he is on business and money and not having the quality time with her. There is also other challenges in life where sometimes if you are building a bigger business, you need to beat your competitors to the punch. So it is a bit of a book that has a lot of thought-provoking moments within the story. I wish I could read it again and again just because it is a fantastic story. I wish I could go through it for the first time just to experience something different each time. So yes, it is a guilty pleasure. I will also say the CGI movie with Jim Carrey is the closest interpretation to the original book. However, my biggest gripe is the excessive CGI animations and scenes added into it that drag the story out and weren't relevant. So that's one of the things that I didn't like with that film, though it is the closest interpretation. My favourite version, besides The Muppets Christmas Carol, who knows, yes, I'm an adult who enjoys a kids' movie, I also enjoy the audiobook by Patrick Stewart doing the narration. He's just got one of those voices that will last through the ages. But that is another story and shall be told another time.